In our top stories that we're following right now, we begin with a story in Rockdale County where state troopers were involved in a shooting at a gas station. So, what we know is that Georgia state troopers were involved in this shooting late Saturday night. It was around 11:40 last night. Two Georgia State Patrol troopers apparently tried to pull over two vehicles racing on I-20, according to GSP. The vehicles exited the interstate at Sigman Road in the Conyers area. One of the vehicles, an SUV, then drove into the parking lot of the Shell gas station. You're looking at some of the images that we captured from the scene there. And GBI said that the driver of that SUV, now identified as 34-year-old Tony Ward of Atlanta, pulled into the parking lot of the gas station, circled the pumps, tried to elude the officers. Ward did eventually stop, and that's when a passenger in the SUV, identified as 41-year-old Chester Williams of Jonesboro, allegedly got out and shot at the troopers, according to GBI. One of the troopers returned fire, hitting Williams, who was arrested and taken to an area hospital for treatment, and a trooper sustained minor injuries, according to GBI. That trooper was taken to a hospital for observation. We have much more on this story on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and our free mobile news app. Now, we're also following the latest in Buford right now. We've been telling you about the latest there. I mean, look at this video that shows what happened at a church that's beloved by so many and really the center of that community for so many people, the Buford Church of God. Extra busy today. They opened their doors to a congregation down the street after a fire tore through it on Thanksgiving Day. Atlanta News First reporter Blake Devine was at that church where the Spanish-speaking members held a service just last night at the church across the street, and they're thankful to have a place to worship until their building is restored.
The building that once housed the First Pentecostal Church of Buford is a shell of itself. But the body that makes up this church isn't letting tragedy tear them apart.
I was raised in this church my whole life, and just seeing my home getting it doesn't feel real.
Alexa Avila grew up going to this church as she's still in shock. Genesis Diaz is another parishioner, still in disbelief, after watching this historic 3-story building built in the 1930s go up in flames.
We were just hanging out, and then we just come by to the church, and it's just everything's on fire.
Saturday night, the Spanish-speaking contingent of this congregation held their first service since this tragedy took place.
It's really important. It's because everybody's gathered after this tragic experience happened.
The group gathered to worship across the street at Iglesiam de Cristo Elim.
I say thank you for these people for giving the opportunity to open the doors for make a service in Spanish.
While it's difficult to comprehend the destruction of their sacred space, what's more important is being together.
I thank God that we got somewhere to praise Him and worship Him, even though we went through something that's really hard.
Blake Devine, Atlanta News First.
And also new tonight, several fires are under investigation across the Atlanta area. A viewer sent in this video off of Highway 140 in Milton. Some information is limited right now, but you can see the huge flames shooting out of that home right there. The crews had to shut down that highway for several areas. No reports of any injuries, but again, this is at Highway 140 in Milton, one of several fires that we have reports of around the metro Atlanta area. I want to take you to another scene, which is in Southwest. Was flooded by flames this morning. It happened on Mitchell Street, living there in City. Well, neighbors said nobody was living there at the time. Atlanta News First reporter Brittany Ford spoke to firefighters who say when temperatures drop, they do tend to see an uptick in fires.
Nearly 24 firefighters worked to put out flames at a home on Mitchell Street in Southwest Atlanta. Afa Avril lives next door.
It's abandoned. The city, I've contacted them for over a year to do something with it because I was building this house next door to it. I've always seen homeless people coming in and out of it.
Doorbell video from Avril's home shows who she believes is a homeless person who's been squatting at the abandoned home walk out as flames begin to roar from inside.
And I was afraid that this would happen.
Fire officials responded to the home around 7 a.m. Sunday morning. Investigators say the home appeared to be abandoned, no one found inside. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but fire officials say it is something they tend to see when temperatures drop.
Sometimes in the abandoned structures, we will see an increase in fires, or the vagrants will try to find places to stay warm, or the unhoused will try to find places to stay warm.
Relieved no one was hurt, Avril says it's an issue the city needs to get a better handle on.
The fire department had to cut a hole in the fence to get to the fire, and then our windows are broken in, and then there's heat damage to some of the roof on the carport.
In Southwest Atlanta, Brittany Ford, Atlanta News First.
All right, let's take a look now at the forecast. First alert meteorologist Cutter Martin. I mean, it's so cold. You know, we talked about the fire hazard. We know space heaters can be dangerous, and we were just talking about that. You know, I've got space heaters on at our barn for our animals, but we unplug them when the people leave.
Yeah, everyone trying to stay warm, keeping the pets warm out there, and we are about to get even colder, believe it or not. Again, it is a chilly evening, cold weather already here, and we're about to get a fresh blast, so to speak, of that really chilly condition. So there is certainly some weather to talk about. I want to remind you, if you do have any weather questions, comments, concerns, all you have to do is shoot us a text. That's option number 1 at 470-777-WANF. I noticed I have a little stray there. Just a little bit enough of a breeze out there this evening to get the hair flying around. You can text us again, 470-777-WANF. That's 9263. Or simply on YouTube, you can ask your questions there as well. Atlanta News First is the account that we are streaming on. Again, we're transitioning from news. Joy Lemon-Akron was talking about some of the fires that we've been dealing with this weekend, you know, whether attributed to the cold or not. There have been several fires, structure and home fires around the area over the past few days. So cold is here. It continues to get colder. In fact, we'll go ahead and bring you to current temperatures right now. Down to 45 at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, 36 already in LJ, 39 in Carrollton. So many spots are already in the 30s, not too far from freezing in LJ. Again, just 4 more degrees. And it's only 8 p.m. or so, and 4 more degrees will hit that freezing mark. Similarly, Griffin down to 37. 37 in LaGrange. The air is very dry. We're talking about chapped lip sort of weather. The kind of weather also where you go to, to reach a door handle or maybe to pump some gas and you get shocked. Just very strong high pressure, very dry air, very cold air is moving in. In fact, one more front sweeping through this evening, another front sweeping through tomorrow. Again, kind of wave after wave, each progressively colder of cold air moving into and really through the state of Georgia here over the next few days. So do keep that in mind. Looks like we do have some comments coming in. Carlson Hatcher, thank you for watching. Wesley Millsap, thanks for watching. And Angela Moore is watching. Thank you to you. Also, the Avatar Perimeter. Again, if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out on YouTube. Atlanta News First is the account that we are streaming on right now. And as mentioned, you can text us, 470-777-9263. All right, let's go ahead and get to the First Alert forecast hour by hour first. We're going to take you deeper into the evening, the overnight hours, and also talk about, this wave of cold air, this additional round of cold air that is on the way. Forecast model doing a pretty good job with what's actually happening outside. Again, a high confidence forecast here. We know it's going to get colder tonight. No real surprise there. And the breeze might kick up a little bit out the door tomorrow morning, so do keep that in mind. Again, I'm rolling this clock forward. I'm having to adjust the graphic kind of on the fly here, so just bear with me. Tomorrow is the First Alert weather day, and we want you to be aware of that, so we want to make sure we have that turned on. Tomorrow, First Alert weather day, because it's another day of change. We go from cold to colder, and you will want to make sure that you have the heavy winter coat available to you and to your students, your kiddos. A lot of folks going back to school tomorrow. I know Atlanta Public Schools is. David, right, will we see snow here this winter? There is no way to tell you for sure whether we're going to have snow, weeks and months out. I will say the pattern so far has been one that has been cold, and that pattern overall may continue, meaning a colder winter overall. A little different than initially forecast, because again, La Nina versus El Nino is much more complicated than that. That is just one factor of many that can determine the variability of weather and cold temperatures, David, in there. So, I can't tell you. It snows in the mountains almost every winter. In fact, Brasstown Ball just had a little bit of snow with the last cold blast, just a little bit. So technically, parts of North Georgia have already seen a little bit of snow. Granted, that is, more than 4,000 or so feet up in the air. So it really just depends. But as far as the city of Atlanta, I'm going to have to give you a plain old I don't know period, because it's a complicated setup there. I will say chances, historically, climatologically, this winter is about average, I would say, of a chance of seeing snow. There are no signals that say this is going to be some, crazy extreme winter, even if it does end up being a little wetter and cooler than average, David. Wish I could give you, a more precise answer, an exact answer, but, asking months and ahead of time, it's just undoable, and I don't want to lie to you. Hour-by-hour forecast, temperatures continue to tumble this evening and overnight tonight. I think by 11 p.m. Atlanta is down to about 40. Most are in the 30s, and some are at or below the freezing mark at 11 p.m. Notice Blairsville at 30, LJ probably about the same at that point. Fannin County, Blue Ridge the same, Clayton, Rabun County much the same. 33 Calhoun, Rome 33, Carrollton 33. So many are on the cusp of the freezing mark, 32 degrees by 11 o'clock this evening. That means many hours below freezing, and in some cases down into the mid to upper 20s. So a hard freeze tonight into tomorrow morning. Hopefully you have safe ways to stay warm. As Joylem Nakron was talking about, the risk of fire with the use of space heaters obviously goes up, but for some that is the only way that they can stay warm, keep their pets warm, their animals warm outside. So again, use it, but use it safely. Keeping it away from, anything flammable. Make sure it's on a level surface. Make sure it is secure. The outlet is plugged into is safe and ready to go, and capable of powering that sort of equipment safely. So just keep all of those things in mind as temperatures continue to tumble overnight tonight. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, again, a first alert weather day Monday, 28 in Calhoun, 29 Marietta. Upper 20s Carrollton, 30 in Atlanta, the same in Jonesboro, 30 in Athens, Dawsonville 30. So again, everyone is below freezing out the door in the morning. And with another blast of cold air moving in, again, no real rain with this, not even much in the way of cloud cover tomorrow during the day. It's just going to be kind of a reinforcing blow of colder air moving into North Georgia and metro Atlanta. Noon, we're only in the upper 30s and lower 40s around the metro and on up into the North Metro and the mountains, mid to upper 40s a little further south. Here we are, 3 p.m. Again, some clouds moving in with this second kind of little system passing to our north, Clipper system, meaning that it's generally these are moving northwest to southeast or west to east. They're fast moving, and we are quite literally just going to get clipped. The majority of the energy with this system remains to our north. So western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, they're seeing some snow this evening. I know it's snowing up in Johnson City, Asheville even seeing some flurries. Much like this evening, again, tomorrow evening, there could be a little bit of snow up in those mountains. And watch what happens as we go into the evening. Let's fast forward it to 6, 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. Clouds to increase across metro Atlanta. But notice there is also little blips of blue and purple in there and white. That is this forecast model's depiction of snow, flurries, and very light snow. And it looks like mainly a mountain thing, also possibly in northeast Alabama. Can't rule out a few flurries in the mountains tomorrow, especially evening and tomorrow night. So between tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, early hours of tomorrow night, cannot rule out a few flurries, wind-blown snowflakes up in the mountains above generally 2,000 feet. Again, mainly tomorrow evening and then gradually clearing back out. And look how cold it is. 11 o'clock Monday evening, maybe that final walk of the dog, or you're just letting them outside. Already back in the mid to upper 30s for the city of Atlanta. Already in the 20s in Blairsville. Already at freezing Calhoun, Carrollton. So even colder weather than what we have had on the way. And Tuesday morning is shaping up to be the coldest. Now, I will say, the same clouds that could bring some flurries to the mountains also could mess with our temperature forecast just a little bit. And we will be watching Tuesday morning, forecasting a hard freeze. We're forecasting a low in Atlanta at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport of 27. That would be a hard freeze. You can see on the map here, many are in the mid to upper 20s. If those clouds hang around just a little bit longer, though, that could mean temperatures are actually a little warmer out the door Tuesday morning, meaning maybe 30, not 27. For now, though, it does look like we're going to clear out in time. Winds will die down in time for temperatures to really drop as we get into the wee hours of Tuesday morning. Case in point, temperatures in the 20s. Janice Rail, hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Apologize if I did not. On YouTube, saying, gotta go, ATL News folks and chat fam. Peace. thanks for watching, and wishing you a wonderful evening, Janice. Hopefully you have a great one out there. Hope you had a great day, and I hope everyone streaming had a wonderful Thanksgiving and a great holiday weekend. All right, so this is a look at actual temperatures, but as we know, in the wintertime, a lot of times when it gets cold, we will also have a breeze blowing, at least, as the colder air moves in. And here's a look at what it might feel like Monday morning to start. Temperatures in the upper teens and lower 20s. Those are wind chills, what it feels like on your skin. Now, as we get into Tuesday morning, wind chills even colder. Most of us have wind chills in the North Metro mid to upper teens, mountains mid-teens, upper teens to right around 20 or lower 20s in the city of Atlanta and further south. So this is what it feels like with the wind blowing out the door Tuesday morning. And as we talked about, it is going to be cold even without the breeze on our Tuesday. First alert weather day Monday, though. It's just the first day that the cold air really starts to move in. It's the day you're having to pull that heavy winter coat back out. If you haven't, I doubt you put it up at this point. It's been a pretty chilly weekend. But it's the first day of a stretch of days that bring cold weather, cold conditions, temperatures in the mid-upper 20s Monday morning, in many spots at least, Tuesday morning. And even possibly Wednesday morning. Again, clouds a factor. They're going to be moving in, but probably during the daytime. So after that low temperature, when we need the clear sky to get really cold, after that occurs, that's when the clouds will start moving in during the day Wednesday. But notice Wednesday afternoon, we're warming up just a little bit. Not warm, but we're warming up just a little bit as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, though our next front approaches. So the warm-up will not be long-lived. It will not be long-lasting. Temperatures back in the low to mid-50s Wednesday and Thursday afternoons. Lots of clouds, but little, if any, rain. 20% chance of rain, I would say mainly west and southwest sides of metro Atlanta. And that front brings yet another round of cold air to the first alert forecast. Notice how the temperature drops back to freezing Friday morning. High temperatures back in the 40s Friday afternoon. Cold Saturday as well. And then yet again, in kind of this progressive pattern. Every few days you get another opportunity to cool down and another opportunity for a system to at least bring some clouds. Now, this next system, though, Saturday into Sunday, looking like it will bring the chance of some rain to the forecast, but mainly beyond the duration of this particular first alert 7-day forecast. So after the 7-day ends on Sunday, that rain chance may get a boost next Monday into Tuesday. Yet again, that is a front moving through. Won't get warm, but maybe warmer. It'll try to at least before our next batch of colder air moves in. And on that note, I want to go ahead and bring you to AtlantaNewsFirst.com. This is just one place that we can, that you can get a check of the forecast here. And again, I'm going to bring it over here. Click on the First Alert Weather tab. Make sure we have it updated for you. Again, that is the forecast from today. A video forecast in there as well. And if you scroll down, again, we're talking about early next week, not, tomorrow, but the next week. A greater chance of rain. And if you scroll down on the weather page here, just below the current conditions, you can see hourly, 3-day. Click on 10-day, and you'll have this feature in the First Alert Weather app as well, forecast out through the next 10 days. And notice how the rain chance does get a boost. Right now at 40%, could end up being a little bit more than that. But the next best or greatest opportunity for some rain in the forecast. In the meantime, it is just plain old cold. Again, we are going to be back, joined by Joy Limnacron at 10 p.m. on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW. Hopefully on time tonight on WANF at 11. We'll keep you updated. AtlantaNewsFirst.com. You can rewatch this stream on YouTube if you're just now coming in. We've been chatting weather here for at least a few minutes. I would say 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. And again, want to thank you for tuning in and for watching. I hope you have a wonderful evening, a great work week. I know it's going to be a drag tomorrow. Everyone who was off going back to work, kiddos, students probably not wanting to go back to school, and it will be cold. But a nice morning, just cold, not the nicest morning to, when it's already hard to get out of bed, but it's going to be one of those mornings tomorrow. Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, also very, very cold in that First Alert 7-day forecast. But we'll be fine-tuning the details, how cold it gets in your neighborhood and such like that over the next few days. Hopefully we can bring in that chance of some rain, and by that point needing some next week. Again, we'll keep you updated. If you can't stay up with us, about to record a video, put it in the First Alert Weather app. Have a great rest of your Sunday evening.